We're going to take a look at the spelling patterns for the sound k at the end of a word, and we're going to show you a wee multisensory spelling detective task to help with that. So to do the spelling detective task, you firstly need to print off this sheet. The good thing about the sheet is that it pulls everything together in the one place. If you don't have a printer, you could read the text on screen and then work on a separate sheet of paper. Or you could in fact use the text from any book you have to hand. This one is particularly good because we've engineered it to have lots of k endings. So you want to read it over with your learner and then ask them to go through it and find all the words that end in the sound k and circle those words. So you really need to ask yourself a few questions when you're doing the detective task. So I'm starting to think, why don't all these words end in the same letter if they all end in the same sound? And well, there's a few ways to spell the sound k, and we need to explore and see what we have here. So let's take a highlighter and find all the words that end in the letter C. So once you've found them all, write them in a list at the bottom of the page. What do you notice about them? What do they have in common? This is a bit of detective work we need to do. We might need a bit of a clue. If you look at these words, you will hopefully start to see that they all have more than one syllable. And you can count syllables by placing your hand under your chin, as the picture here shows. Where a word with the sound k at the end has more than one syllable, we use the letter C to spell the sound, or as some kids like to call it, curly k. So now we take a few different coloured highlighters and work on through the other spelling choices for the sound k at the end of a word. And as you're collecting together your list of words, try and notice the patterns. So how many syllables do these words have? Why are some spelt with CK at the end and some with just a K? How are they different? And it might help you to focus if you highlight all the endings and look for the patterns as you work. Well, did your detective work find the answer? Don't worry if not, we're going to explain it now. For words with just one syllable, we need to think about the letter or the sound that comes just before the final k. If it is a short vowel before your final sound k, we use the letters C, K, and here are some examples. If it is a consonant before your final sound k, we use the letter K, and here are some examples. Hopefully you've got the hang of that, but you'll probably want to overlearn it just to reinforce it in your head. So on the opening page you can find a word sorting activity, and if you want to watch a clip to see how you can work with that, you can have a look at the one for the sound k at the start of a word. It's the same activity, just with a slightly different focus. You can also download this wee reminder card from the opening page. Hopefully this will help you sort out your confusions over how to spell the sound k at the end of a word, as it is one of the most common things that trips people up.